I find it so interesting because so many people, you know, looking to get into the housing market in Toronto, it's not easy. Mississauga Home for Sale was able to generate plenty of offers by listing the price far below market value.
The 3-bedroom house on Longleaf Court near Winston Churchill and Burnham Thorpe sold for just under $1 million. Now, it was originally listed for $750,000, which is close to what it sold for in 2017. So this home received 85 offers, which the real estate agent says 80% were nowhere close to being in the running because it wasn't close to what I guess the owners wanted.
So this video has brought so many questions into the market right now, and I've also received like 4 messages from my clients, and this is part of the reason why I decided to just do this video and really get into it. What I'm going to cover in this video is talk about this. I'm going to cover it in a very different perspective, which is going to be very good for you as a buyer coming into the market today and also as a seller. And towards the end of this video, I'm also going to cover some comments, which is going to be really good for you to see. Some of those comments are just insane, which will be good to have a good understanding of what these people are saying out there. So you might be a buyer, and you are a buyer trying to get into the real estate market today in 2024. And you're seeing news like this, and it's really just affecting you. You're thinking, what's going on out there? Or you're a potential seller, and you're thinking, oh, it's time. We're getting back to those days that my value of my house is coming back up again. So I want to give this a completely different view, and I'm going to give it a broader picture, then bring it all the way down to the micro market level of the house in Mississauga that we just watched right now. So when you look at the greater picture, the Greater Toronto area has a population of 5.9 people. The reason I say this is because 66.5% of that 5.9 are homeowners, which is about 3.9 people are homeowners in the Greater Toronto area. And this means that 2 million of the 5.9 million in the Greater Toronto area do not own a home. So they're either tenants or they're just either renting. Some of them probably are homeless. So this is the number that I couldn't find. I tried to search for it and I couldn't find it. So out of that 2 million, let's say 5% of the 2 million are capable of actually purchasing a home. They have the capability of owning a home. So that 2 million, let's say it's 100,000 people in the Greater Toronto area have the ability to come into the market and buy a home. Now, as of last month, January 2024, the Toronto Real Estate Board registered a total of 4,223 home sales in the Greater Toronto area. I say these numbers, and I'm going to lead into the micro level because it's important to understand this. So this is something that I've been covering from the beginning of this year, which is supply and demand. If you haven't watched the 2023 year review and the 2024 market predictions, watch it. I'm going to have the link somewhere in this video here so you can go and watch it, because this is something that I've been covering from the beginning of the year, supply and demand. It's very important to understand this, and this is why I'm bringing up these numbers before I get into the grit of this video. So when supply is very low and the demand is really high, obviously this affects the prices that are out there. And as a seller, to understand this, you have to market your property the correct way, and that's how you'll end up getting 85 people fluctuating to your house. So the major issue here is not that a lot of buyers are not properly educated to go and look at these properties, which I'll get to as well. It's the fact that inventory is very low, and the buyers that are currently in the market today, they have adopted to what's going on with their interest rates. So you're potentially looking at this and wondering, how are people even affording this type of price range? It's because we're humans. We adopt to what's going on around us. Now, when we're looking at the interest rates being around 5% and they're not announce any increase, and they're talking about the interest rate slightly dropping, and there's ways on how you can get a fixed rate, and there's ways on how to get around these interest rates. And once the buyers have adopted to this, this is why you see people are not having the confidence to come into the market. And when you come into the market and the inventory is very low, and when I get into the Mississauga numbers, you'll understand what I mean. When the inventory is very low, the demand is going to be very high. So when you have a house that looks really good like this one right here, and there's very less type of properties that are very similar to this, and the marketing price captures a lot of you, you get 85 people running into that property trying to buy it. So now let's bring it down all the way to the Mississauga level. So when we look at Mississauga numbers, Mississauga has a population of around 717,000 people. As of January last month, the Toronto Real Estate Board actually registered a total of 376 homes sold in Mississauga alone. The average price in Mississauga for all type of homes, I'm talking semi-detached, detached, townhouses, condos, the average price for all sorts of homes in Mississauga is $1,048,000. So when you look at this, you get the good understanding that Mississauga is lacking a number of homes. And just last month, the federal government actually made an announcement that they're going to be building around 3,000 homes in Mississauga. This is going to be through the Housing Accelerator Fund, which they're going to provide around $113 million to fund all these projects, and the projection to have around 35,000 homes in the next 10 years. So the government does understand that there's a lack of homes in Mississauga as well. And this is all across GTA, but I'm just focusing on Mississauga because as I'm coming down to the micro level of this house that we just looked at. So when you understand these numbers, now when we come into this house itself, as we saw in the video, it was listed for $750 in 2017. And today we're in 2024. So clearly there's no way this house would have sold for this amount, for $750. So this is just a marketing price. And again, I'll say, if you watch the year review video that I did, I'm explaining this marketing price very well, because this was a tool that was used very well in 2023. And once sellers have a good understanding of this, and this seller really had a good understanding of this and took leverage of it, and this is how they were able to attract so many people to it. This house, when I did the micro comparables for that specific neighborhood, the value of this house was coming in and around that 940 up until 970 mark there. So for it to have sold just shy of 1 million, obviously this is not a huge surprise for us who are in the business, or for some of you who are pretty much vested in the real estate world a little bit, is because when you have more than 10 offers and the value of your house, then the value of your home is 950, you stand a greater chance of your house selling slightly over than its actual value. So this one sold, you can say maybe around $20,000 to $30,000 over its actual value. It seems like it sold $200,000 over its value, but really it actually sold for just around $20,000 to $30,000 over. So 84 buyers that went after this maybe did not have a better understanding of this. And I want to cover this point over here, because how do you approach this? How do you make sure you avoid being in a situation like this as a buyer? So how do you make sure as a buyer you can avoid such situations? So first of all, let's just face it. Whatever property, whatever house, condo, townhouse you're walking into as a buyer today, and it is a really good house, it is a really good, staged very well in a good neighborhood, just know 9 times out of 10, there's another buyer that's also interested in that specific house as well. So how do you avoid being in situations where you have 80 offers? This, by the way, is not typical. It does not happen with all the properties that are out there in the market. But what's typical is 2 other offers, 3 other offers, 5 other offers. This was not happening so much towards the end of 2023, but so far we've currently started seeing this happening, particularly with the buyers being adapted to what's going on currently. So how do you make sure that you are well equipped in this kind of situation? So you want to be able to move fast and to be able to get into the property that you want and submit an offer really quick. Now, when I say really quick, you don't want to just move into this blindly. You want to be very strategic on this. And I'll give you an example. So let's say you're on a highway, 401, and the driver is driving this car, and the driver is going very slow, looking around. They don't know which exit they want to go to. It feels safe, but they're driving very slow. You as a passenger in there, you'll get a little bit more antsy. Like, do you even know what you're doing? Do you know where you're going? Even though they're going slow. But when you get into a car of somebody who's going really fast, maybe not past the speed limit, just a little bit over, but they're going really fast, you're almost comfortable in there. You're not so concerned because this person knows where they're going. They know, like, they're sure of how they're driving in and around the road. So you're more confident. So that's the car you want to be in. And how do you do that? By doing a buyer consultation. Now, this is something you've probably heard me talk about a lot if you've watched a lot of my videos. Buyer consultations are very important, particularly if you are a first-time home buyer. If you're a seasoned buyer, it's still good so that you can have a good understanding of what's happening today. As you can see with all this bids and interest rates, it's still good for you to have a good understanding of what's happening today. Maybe for a first-time home buyer, it might take you 45 minutes. As a seasoned buyer, it might take you 15 minutes, and we just cover the main things. But in this buyer consultation, we'll get to understand your needs. When you're sitting down with a real estate broker, we'll get to understand your needs, and they'll be able to explain to you how this process looks like. So if I had a client that's about to submit an offer to this property, and I know their maximum price is $850, and this property just sold, this house just sold for less than $1 million, just shy of $1 million, I would have already shown my clients before we even go ahead and submit an offer, the comparables in around that neighborhood and what has sold around there. Now, my client might feel like, well, why is it listed at this point? So a lot of times I repeat myself, which is absolutely fine for me, because initially I'll always tell you the market trends. In that buyer consultation, I'll tell you the market trends of what's going on today. And it always changes season by season. So it's very important to understand this. And once I've explained this to you and it comes time, maybe a month later, things have changed and you come across a property like a house like this and it's listed for $750 and it's going to sell for over $1 million, and I show you the comparables that is showing you the value of this house is around $940, so we should now go ahead and submit an offer, which I'll say to you, and you really want to do it, well, I might still go forward with it, but you'll have all the information behind it. So this is why it's very important to have an agent who is taking you through this buyer consultation initially. And as you're going through the offers, as you're going through the showings, we're still explaining to you what's going on, and we're still explaining to you how to transcend into submitting an offer. And you're very well informed. Even if you choose that you still want to move forward, I will be explaining to you, like, listen, there's already 10 offers registered. So you'll probably want to increase your offer to close the value of the house. And if you can't do that, then just know you're 100% not going to get the house. And I'll always share this information with all my clients. Some of my clients are watching this. They'll probably tell you the same thing. So that's how you avoid being in situations like this. And I feel for those buyers who are very attached to a house and you feel excited that you're about to submit an offer and you think this is the right thing, but you're just not informed. So make sure you're very well informed as you're coming into the market today. That's how you avoid being in this kind of frustrations. When you're watching these things on the news, there shouldn't be a shocker to you. There should just be like, oh, that's a market price. So when it comes to sellers, for sellers, there's not so much to say here, but this is where we want to be as a seller. We want to have a property up in the market and we have 85 people who want to buy it. So this is what you're looking for as a seller. So for the seller, it's very important to understand the marketing price, because this will attract you as many buyers as possible. This house in Mississauga, they had a really good marketing price. It might have frustrated a lot of people, but at the end of the day, the agent was able to fulfill the seller's target in terms of the value of the house and what they really wanted. So if a seller, because I have clients, I have sellers like this who just don't want to go through a number of offers like this. They don't want to deal with so many showings. They don't want to deal with so many offers, and I totally get it. So there's also ways on how we can go about that as well. So I'll always show you a marketing price, and I'll always give you an understanding that this marketing price is going to attract as many people like this. It's going to generate as many showings. Are you okay with that? And if you're okay with that, then let's move forward. If you're not, let's meet halfway. Let me meet you where you want and where you are and what works for you. That way we're able to move forward the right way in terms of attracting the buyers that are going to pay the maximum value for your house, because this is really what you want. Let's face it, because listen, I've had sellers who have told me, like, Clement, I just want to have a buyer that's going to buy my things. I don't want to have many showings. Like, if I could just get one buyer that's going to come in and look at it, give me an offer, the number that I want, let's move forward. I've had clients like this, and I've always said, like, listen, we can get a little bit more from this if you just let me take the reins on this and give you the value that you're looking for. But a lot of times I also still understand sellers just want to get the money that they want and move forward, which is completely understandable. Now, this is another thing for sellers, which is very important to understand. The value of your house is not set by Me, the real estate broker, you, the seller, the value of your house is set by the buyers that are coming to look at your house and actually submit an offer. So you could want $1 million for your house, and if it's valued at 920, and the buyers that come in and view your house bring you offers of 900,000, that's the maximum you can get. That is the buyer setting the price for your property. So you can want as much as you want. We could have a plan that it's going to be where we say we're going to bring you 930, 920, but the buyers that are coming, if you have 3, 4, 5 buyers that are bringing you offers and they're all under that 900,000, and the maximum is the 900,000, then that is the value of your house. So this is a big thing that I've found sellers have a misunderstanding of, where they believe that the value that they deem to be of their house is the value of the house. But a lot of times that is set by the buyers. Okay, so the part that a lot of you probably have been waiting to see, and these are the comments, and this is something new that I really wanted to do. And because a lot of times when I look at these videos, I always go into the comments to just see what people are saying, which gives me a good understanding of a lot of where the consumers are sitting at and what the confusion is out there in the market. And also when my clients talk to me, I get a good understanding of this, but also when you have this understanding from what people are saying, the general public, it's really good to see. So what I have here, I wanted to also show you this. This is more of the details of what happened with this house. So the house had 300 showings. Crazy. They had a total of 85 offers, as we can see. The list price was $749. It sold for $999,000, so just $1 under $1 million. And this sold for January 29th, and it's a semi-detached house. So those are crazy, 300 showings. My goodness, picture you being the seller of that house. So let's look at some of these comments here. So let's look at the first comment here from one of the people's online, which is, I'm just gonna read a lot of these comments and just comment on them as well. So the first guy here says, isn't that your agent's job to understand the local market so they can inform you that it's intentionally priced under so that you can drum up the interest? So this is what I just explained to you. So a lot of people are actually asking the same question. Then I believe this is an agent that says yes, but a lot of people ignore that and say, I'm not playing those games, just offer X anyways. So this is where a lot of buyers typically say, I don't want to play any games. This is my only offer that I'm going to submit. So if I'll just submit it, if they say yes, we'll move forward. If they say no, then I'll just leave it alone. So that could fall under the 84 people that actually submitted an offer as well. So we have another guy here who says, interestingly, it seems to be the best strategy. Just keep offering 0.7 to 0.9% conditional. 1 to 3% of sellers will eventually either agree or will reach out in a couple of months asking if the old offer is still available. It isn't a waste of time. So I get where this person is coming from. So a lot of times you could see a seller has high expectations with the value that they want. So what a buyer would do sometimes, they'll bring in an offer that actually suits the value of the house. But because the seller's expectation is so high and they don't accept it, and they feel very confident that they're going to get this high expectation of a number, and offers come in and they reject them. And then that period from when they rejected that offer till when they really want to sell ends up going to around a month. And the seller now feels like, you know what? I don't think we're going to get any more offers. We're not getting showings. Could you reach out to that other agent that brought in an offer? Let's see if they're willing to work again. That could work, but not for a property that's completely undervalued, underlisted, and there's 80 offers or there's 10 offers. The seller typically would accept one of them. And a lot of times I would have also talked to the seller to have a good understanding what the expectations are, how willing are they to accept an offer as well if their value is just ridiculously high, and my client to be very well informed. Now, this comment here was a little bit vulgar, so just bear with me. And it says, every agent is praising it as a strategy. It's wasting people's time. Listed for $899,000, $40,000 to $50,000 under asking, and get your 10 offers. Listing it $250,000 under its value is so stupid. You water 75 people families plus 75 agents time with this bullshit. So this is a buyer that's just frustrated, and we get a lot of this in the real estate market. And listen, when I'm listing a property for my sellers, I'm doing everything in my power to get the maximum value for my clients. And I'm expecting all the buyer agents to come in and do their homework to support their clients and to help their clients. If I'm representing a buyer, I will do my part, and I'll make sure I converse with the seller. I'll make sure I converse with my clients, and I make sure they're very well understanding of what's going on in the real estate market and have a good understanding of the offer they are about to submit. So all these things, the frustration that a lot of people would have would come from not having a good understanding of the market. It will come from not having a good understanding with the real estate agent who is representing them. So it's very important to have that in check. But as for now, whether you are 9 days or 90 days away from purchasing a home and you want to buy a house or a condo or townhouse, a lot of people have always had the opportunity to reach out to me via text, email. You can schedule a Zoom call with me here as well, and we can get into a consultation ahead of time, or we can just get into a call first to see if it makes sense for us to work together or not once I have a good understanding of where you are sitting with everything. So until next time, watch other videos to have a better understanding of what's going on in the real estate market today. But have a good one, and see you in the next video.